Got him incoming, got him.
G'day there, once again viewers, your mate Kamikaze78 here. Today my friends, we're going to be having a chat about Titanfall 2's latest addition to the Titan family, Monarch. Over the past week that Monarch has been with us, I've been pretty much maining this Titan, trying to get a feel for how she fits in with the current mix of Titans, and, well, just trying to get a feel as to how competitive she really is. And after spending so much time with her, I have to say that she really has left a mark on me, and has possibly become one of my favourite Titans in the game, if not my favourite Titan in the game, full stop. Not because she's the most effective Titan overall, but because there is some real challenge behind using Monarch that isn't quite present with the other Titans in the game. Don't get me wrong, the majority of Titans in the game, bar tone, require some degree of skill and learning to use, but Monarch's learning curve is one that is very unique, different from the rest of the Titans. You see folks, with the rest of the Titans that are currently in the game, we want to keep them alive as long as possible. The longer we live, the more times we get to use the core ability, and the more times we get to use the core ability, the more times we get to unleash a devastating attack on our enemies. And, well, the bigger our KDR gets as well, so bragging rights and shiz. But you see, with Monarch, living for a long period of time to use the core ability is no longer a want, but it is instead a need. When Monarch drops fresh from above, while she isn't completely and utterly useless, she is considerably less effective than other Titans in a 1v1 standoff. Atone, Ronin, Scorch, Legion, hell, all of the other Titan classes in the game in a 1v1 standoff are going to outgun Monarch significantly in the early stages of the game. However, enter the upgrade core. Unlike all other Titans, Monarch's upgrade core doesn't provide a quick and dirty offensive boost, but instead boosts a certain element of Monarch that puts you closer and closer to being able to cope in a 1v1 scenario against other Titan classes. The upgrade core rewards careful and strategic play early on, with improved offensive and defensive capabilities for you to make use of later on that put you further onto the par with other Titans in the game. And once you hit upgrade level 3, you are rewarded by being a lean, mean, death-dealing machine that on average is probably a lot better than the other Titan classes without their cores. But the challenge you face initially before you reach that overpowered stage that is the level 3 upgrade is making it through stage 1 and even stage 2 before you can find yourself being a true force to be reckoned with. Now I know at this point that I'm meant to share some of my newfound wisdom relating to Monarch and how to accelerate your way to dominance through the upgrade cores. But if I was going to attempt that, I'd be entering salesperson mode and would be bullshitting you guys 110%. Monarch is quite easily the Titan in the game that has the most amount of grey area, if you will, when it comes to strategy in the early stages of her existence. There isn't a whole lot of clear-cut black and white what to do and what not to do here. Sure, you want to upgrade your Monarch as fast as possible to become more effective, which means playing relatively aggressive and getting constant hits on your targets with your abilities. But by the same token, you don't want to overstay your welcome and see yourself taking more damage than you should in the early stages. There are so many things to consider with this Titan that makes using her a task and a half, but for that very reason, I'm loving Monarch and her very playstyle so much. It's a Titan class that invites you to be daring and take opportunities as they're presented to you, but by the same token, remain in check with what your capabilities actually are. For example, sometimes it's for the best just to peek around a corner to get an energy siphon hit on a Titan before retreating back into cover with the intent of building your shields up over time through short guerrilla strikes. But on the other hand, sometimes it is better just to go all out, making use of your energy siphon, salvo rockets and rearm ability to cripple an enemy and push yourself just that little bit more to get the upgrade core. The rearm ability in particular is extremely useful for getting the upper hand in a firefight, as it basically lets you double down on all of your abilities. Meanwhile, on the other hand, sometimes it's better just use the ability defensively while you're in a retreat so you can slow down a pursuing enemy with a well-placed energy siphon. Again, there is very little things in black and white about this Titan. There are so many different circumstances in which you should and shouldn't use your abilities, to the point where if I was going to go about doing a guide video for this Titan, it would probably end up being around about 20 minutes long at least. However, what I will say here and now is that when it comes to outfitting your upgrade slots, focusing your upgrade slots towards certain weapons available to Monarch makes for some very powerful combinations. For example, using arc rounds and the XO16 accelerator upgrades is going to make the primary weapon stupidly powerful, capable of tearing Titans to the ground. Trust me guys, this is actually probably my favorite loadout to run, and once you get that level 3 upgrade, the primary weapon just becomes a force of nature, something that can even out DPS Tone and a full salvo of locked on rockets at times. The salvo rockets can also be upgraded twice with the missile racks and the multi-target missile system as well to make them a very powerful payload. And when it comes to the second upgrade slot, I really can't find myself going past the energy field, which allows for you to drain energy from multiple targets around the point of impact of your energy siphon. So if you hit an enemy Titan and there are nearby grunts and a player around it, you're going to get a small dose of energy from them as well. It's a superbly powerful ability that really gives you a small element of crowd control capability, especially when you're going up against enemy Titans, and when I say enemy Titans, I mean multiple at the same time. So as a recap guys, while Monarch can be an incredibly competitive Titan on the field against the more seasoned veterans that we are used to seeing, that competitiveness only comes from a lot of practice, knowing when to attack, when to retreat, and how to maximize every opportunity with your capabilities. Monarch's difficulty rating in the game is a 3-star difficulty rating, and if I'm completely honest, that has to be one of the most honest difficulty ratings I've seen in the game thus far. It really does capture how difficult Monarch is to learn, and more specifically, how difficult she is to master. While living for long periods of time is the goal for all Titans, Monarch's effectiveness is entirely dependent on lasting for a long time. The longer you stay alive, the more effective she is going to become. So picking your battles in the early stages is not only the most important skill to learn, but it is easily the hardest as well. Take your time learning the abilities, learning the timing, the rhythm, and good old Monarch will treat you back with respect and with a good KDR. And folks, with all that said, that's going to wrap up today's video discussing Monarch, the latest addition to the Titan family in Titanfall 2. Now before we go any further guys, I'd like to quickly announce that for all of my subscribers watching right now, we're not going to be doing the Monday recap this week simply because E3 is upon us. And if I'm honest guys, my E3 coverage for this year is kind of taking a bit more of a prevalence over doing this week's Monday recap. I do apologize for that guys if you're a really big fan of the Monday recap series, but if I'm honest guys, I'm kind of a little bit more excited about doing E3 specific content over a Monday recap. I've already got my notes for EA's press conference all written up and good to go, and I'm very much looking forward to Bethesda's and Microsoft's conference tomorrow as well. Once again guys, if you enjoyed today's video, backhanding of that like button would be greatly appreciated, and if you find yourself backhanding the like button on today's video and you're new to the channel, then why don't you go around and backhand that subscribe button whilst you're at it to keep up to date with the content in which I'm releasing here on my channel. Once again guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, peace out, and I'll be seeing you all next time. Have a good one.